The NBA Finals has concluded. Congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder and that fan base. But that leads us to the 2025 NBA free agency. And if the rumors are true, this is going to be a shocking, surprising summer. So let me give you my Don list of the top 10 most interesting teams this summer. At number 10, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm going with the Lakers here because they're coming off of the back of selling majority of the team to the Dodgers owner. This isn't that much of a crazy move because the league is moving more towards teams not being able to flex their financial abilities with the second apron and all that. But I believe the Lakers, under this new management, I think we start to see signs of them being more aggressive in free agency. With new ownership, we have to keep in mind that this is a team that is looking to win, and being in the Los Angeles market, there's pressure for them to win at a high level. Plus, I can't forget to mention that LeBron is more than likely going to be a free agent. We already know with him, he does the 1-and-1 where he has the 1 year and then he has a player option. I expect him to opt out, but more than likely he's going to re-sign with this Lakers team. And for Rob Pelinka in that front office, I expect them to build more so around Luka because he is the future of this organization. And I believe you have to play according to his skill capabilities on both offense and defense. Next, at number 9, I'm going to go with another historic franchise, and that being the Boston Celtics. This summer, the Celtics are going to be sellers. We've already seen them trade away Drew Holiday for Anthony Simons. In the aftermath of that trade, we've got rumors from Shams and all the NBA league insiders that the Celtics are looking to trade away more pieces. In another video, I've already speculated that Kristaps Porzingis may be that other player who the Celtics look to trade away, because with Jason Tatum more than likely set to miss all of next season, there is a likelihood that this Celtics organization is trying to get below the second apron. Considering this is not a team that's set to contend for a championship right now, although they might be selling some of their key rotational players, I wouldn't put it past them if they try to make a big swing here as well to set them up for the new era when Jason Tatum comes back the following season. At 8, I'm going to go with the Orlando Magic. For the Magic, this is a chance for them to start closing that gap in terms of them contending in the East. Keep in mind, the past 2 seasons, they've made it to the first round. They've been bounced both times, and this past season was a bit more disappointing, but you got to chuck that up to a couple of injuries, and this team still hasn't developed offensively. So far, they've gone out and traded for Desmond Bane. I expect them to help them offensively. And then defensively, he's a solid defender. I expect them to not miss a beat there. My one concern with that move, though, however, is the draft capital that they gave away. They gave away 4 first-round picks, and then there's a pick swap in there. To me, that's rich to acquire Bane, but it's going to help them offensively. Plus, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is to get off the KCP deal. This is a big summer for the Orlando Magic. Can Paolo Banchero take the next leap in his game? And then when it comes to that front office, can they make the right moves and deals to allow this Magic team to become contenders in the Eastern Conference, where it's going to be a bit lackluster and there's an opportunity for them to rise up the food chain? And at number 7, I'm going to go with another young contender, and that's going to be the Detroit Pistons. I'm expecting the Detroit Pistons to be a bit aggressive in terms of getting some better role players around Cade Cunningham. Jaden Ivey's going to come back healthy for next season. And this is going to be a team that's going to have some more experience. They're going to be hungry. And again, the Eastern Conference is not a powerhouse. So I expect them to re-sign a Malik Beasley and go after some pieces so that they could take that next leap and be a part of the contenders out east. My number 6, I'm going to go with Denver. I think the Nuggets are still a championship contender. It's a bit difficult because their team is becoming more expensive, and I don't believe that this is an ownership that wants to pay a large sum of money to keep this team together. With that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a splash move in which they move Michael Porter Jr. or maybe Christian Brown, who's eligible for an extension here in the summer. I couldn't see Aaron Gordon because, to me, that fan base adores him, and he's coming off of a season where he literally gave his all to this franchise, and not to mention he fits like glue alongside Jokic. But this is a Denver team that's going into a Western Conference that will be more difficult this upcoming year. So what move is possible for them to get better and remain in contention? And also, I mentioned in my What Next series with Jokic and what's going on in Denver. They got their head coach. They most recently got their GM. Now there needs to be a game plan to making sure that you don't waste the prime of Jokic. Jokic is one of the best players in basketball right now. And I believe after winning their championship, Denver has not done a great job of doing right by Jokic in this team. So although I see them shredding some of their salary, they do need to be aggressive in adding more depth to this team. That was a problem because you saw Jokic in that Denver series get worn down. So you need to go out, get a backup center. At number 5, I'm going to go with the Milwaukee Bucks, and that's because they're at a crossroads right now. They want to keep Giannis, but how do they make this roster better? Are they committed to spending money to making sure Giannis has an opportunity to stay with this franchise for his whole entire career and still be in the position to win titles? Or are they going to trade Giannis and start positioning themselves for a rebuild? There are still a ton of questions for this franchise and for Giannis himself, and this is going to be the offseason where if they do keep Giannis, they have to do a better job of building around him. In particular, you need more shooting. Also, Brook Lopez is a free agent. I don't expect them to re-sign him. Now you have to go out and get another center. Luckily for the Bucks, they play out east. And even if they do keep this team with slight changes in no name, I still see them as a top 8 team out east. However, the expectations are greater than being in the playoffs. Is about going to the NBA Finals once again and reclaiming that championship glory. This is going to be an interesting summer in Milwaukee, and my prediction early on is that Giannis stays. However, I'm not quite sure how this Bucks team gets better. At number 4, I'm going to take the New York Knicks. Although the Knicks don't have a head coach yet, I still expect them to make the right moves in terms of remaining competitive. Aforementioned Giannis, I believe if the Knicks were to trade for him, it would help them reach the next step and probably dominate in the Eastern Conference that, as I mentioned throughout the course of this video, is not the strongest. But let's exclude a big trade from this team. The Knicks still have to add more to their depth, and they need to figure out a defensive identity. This is a team that, had they played better defensively, they would have found themselves not only in a better position going into the postseason, but they would have found themselves in the NBA Finals. At number 3, I'm going to take the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that's mainly because of the Darius Garland rumors. We already know with the CBA rules, you don't want to be in a second apron. So Garland might have to be one of those players that has to be moved to allow the Cavs to stay in a good cap situation. That being said, I'm going to reemphasize, the East is wide open. I know y'all get tired of me saying that, but the East is wide open. This summer is the time for the Cavs to make the right moves to position themselves to make the finals and potentially win a championship. Hell, we even got a rumor that the Cavs were trying to trade away Garland to get KD. That shows you how eager this organization is to getting back to the finals. And they see that their opportunity is right there for the taking. If the Cavs don't make it to the conference finals next season, we'll be looking at this team very funny, and it might be time for drastic changes at that point. My second most interesting team this summer, the San Antonio Spurs. Although they didn't win the sweepstakes to get Kevin Durant, this team has the number 2 and the number 14 pick. That is insane. And we're looking at a possibility of them being the next OKC in a way, because OKC dominated in the lottery. Can the Spurs continue to dominate in the lottery as well? You have back-to-back Rookie of the Years, Wemby, Stephon Castle. If they hit on another draft pick, this team is going to be set for the future. Whatever moves this team makes this summer will indicate their direction for what they see for this team going forward. If they go out and trade for a Giannis, they believe that they can win a championship now. If they stay put and they build through the draft, they have confidence that they can win a championship within the next 4 to 5 years. And that's not outside the realms. When you have one of the best prospects in a long time in Wemby, and then you get De'Aaron Fox, who's an elite point guard, Stephon Castle, who has the potential to become one of the next elite point guards. Their ceiling is super high, and I have a feeling that OKC is going to have to watch out for the Spurs team, along with this team, for the foreseeable future. And my number 1 most interesting team this summer is going to be the Houston Rockets. Acquiring Kevin Durant already places the Rockets in the top 3 out west. And they can still become even better, in my opinion, because they still don't have knockdown shooters. But the Rockets still have assets to go out and get shooters here in free agency. This is going to be a massive summer for the Houston Rockets, and when free agency officially begins, I expect them to make the right moves to allow them to compete for this upcoming year and for the long run. If you made it to the end of the video, let me know who you have as your most interesting team this summer. Go ahead and like and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one.